Chapter 3, Heart of a King. Being believers and being someone who's created this foundation with God in this and allowing God to join us on this business journey. If you're in leadership, you're a pastor, or you're a business owner, a parent, or a coach, or somebody that has taken the foundation and built it correctly, just like as a builder building a house, that foundation, I know you've probably heard this before, but it holds everything else up. In construction, when we build a foundation out of concrete, there's been scenarios where we didn't chalk the lines properly or pulled the string, and the batter boards that are the control lines of your exterior foundation concrete pour of the home were a little bit off, and we didn't quality check and check these things. Guess what happened? When it was time to frame, things were off, and we had to make adjustments that we didn't feel like we should have if we would have set the foundation properly. So in this case, foundation it's in place. We're headed, we're being fruitful, everything's going. But unfortunately, we didn't have the full vision yet. So we're in a position, and God positioned us to start seeking purpose and vision. We did have a foundational vision, and why I shared that whole foundational story. Our foundational vision was to establish a new standard of excellence within the residential construction market, specifically in Oahu on the islands of Hawaii. And so we worked really hard to establish this level of excellence, showing God in integrity and administration and our sales department and all our marketing in the way we operated in the field, to closing jobs out and finishing well. Like every level of excellence and stewardship we could handle was how we were operating. Now here we were having this ambition to see the fruit. What naturally happens to us in the flesh is we want to continue to climb that mountain, grow, keep scaling. We start seeing the possibilities. We don't know where that end game is, because why? We don't have the full vision yet, or maybe we do, but in our case, we did not. And so we were in a position really to kind of do a quality check on our heart, our vision, and our purpose to make sure where we're headed is in the right place. What I found myself doing a lot, pull up a prop here, I would go on Instagram, I would go on Facebook, I would go on these different scrolling rabbit holes, and the algorithms would kick in place and start throwing different things and very consistent things into my phone, where I was starting to see business coaches and different entrepreneurs and how they do things. And so what started happening to my identity and my security, it started just being minimized, because I felt like I wasn't living up to what I was seeing on here. And what I noticed about myself is I started chasing and having a new ambition, vision, and purpose to meet the need or the success level of what I was seeing when I was scrolling. And not to say that our getting coaching, getting advice, getting input, getting all these things is not good. This is great. We need to have these inputs in our lives to help guide. Iron sharpens iron. We need these colleagues. We need everything we get. Those are people God can bring into our life. But when I was scrolling, and maybe if you've experienced this as well, you kind of get this insecurity that you're not doing enough. You need to do more. You need to kind of keep climbing that mountain. I mean, I'm just reading motivational speech after motivational quote. I need to put out quotes. I need to motivate. I need to get to where these guys are taking me. And you can kind of go into what I call the ocean. As a navigator in the U.S. military, I was in the Navy, would work right next to the captain as a communicator to whether it was helo helicopters is what we call them, or fueling the ship, or when we go to war. I was the guy with the headphones on, and anything the captain say, I would communicate to Central, to the other ships, or also to the air helos we would have in the air. And so being on the ship and watching the navigation of the captain at work, I almost felt like a business owner sitting next to the builder of all things and having this just grand experience. And I got to witness what he would do to look out and how he would get vision and how we would go. What I recognized when I was up there is without the GPS set, the navigational tools, and the programs in place, we would never know where we're going. It looks like an endless ocean out there. I can't even imagine, before we had all these tools at our expense, we had navigators out there trying to use the stars and the sun and the moon to navigate, and sometimes not even know where they were going. They were just hoping to land somewhere. And that's how I felt when we were running our business. When we were fruitful and we were trying to scale, it almost felt like my heart position and ambition was chasing this endless goal. I felt like I was in this ocean with no GPS, with no tools and navigation, no resources at my disposal. And so I almost started feeling this feeling of being lost. Like, where am I headed? Where am I navigating to? Like, I know God set the GPS to go this way, but I don't see where we're going. And so purpose can almost be diluted or blurred, or like, where are we going? Sometimes we got to get in a position where we want to ask God, where are we going? What's the point of all this? And that's where I was landing as a business owner. Okay, yeah, we're doubling revenue, but what's the point? We're establishing a new standard of excellence and people are seeing God operate, but is this it? Is this the end? Do we need more? That natural chase for ambition kicks in, and we can get lost in that, especially when we're scrolling on Instagram and Facebook and hearing all these amazing different ways of success and climbing the mountain, hitting plateaus, and trying to get to this very top mountain tip where the you can land on major success. But to me, I felt like I was in an ocean chasing an endless ambitional dream, if we want to call it something. And so I got in a place where I really needed to get into an isolated place and seek God. And so I just personally started like praying and meditating and asking God, like, how can I get a clear vision of our purpose to make sure we're headed towards land out in this deep ocean where it feels endless, like other entrepreneurs in the world. We have you as our captain. How are we going to get there? So I personally just started studying, and I felt like I came across the idea, or if God planted it, that kings in the Bible were a good representation or reading, good or bad, on how a business owner or an entrepreneur shall operate. Basically, they govern land, they govern people, they govern the finances, they govern, justice systems. They govern a lot, and being able to see how God positioned kings and how they operate. So I went down this major MasterClass myself and just started studying all the kings that I could. Obviously, there's ones that come out and pop out more than others, like David and King Solomon and these certain kings. And so when I came across Solomon and studying his output, because he seemed to be like the most successful king of all kings, one of the most wealthiest men ever to live on the planet is what the scriptures say. And so studying that is really interesting, hearing his perspective and the timing on how he governed his business, his land, his operations. And there was this one scripture in Proverbs 21:1 that just really struck a chord in the timing of when I was searching for direction and purpose and vision. And here it is right here, is Proverbs 21:1 says, "The king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord. He guides it where he will." Now, why this caught me was a few things. It was, the king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord. The king's heart. Okay, I was reading all this stuff about how a business owner or a king should operate in the Bible, trying to get every little nugget, let's call it, I could. But the king's heart, okay, this got me. My heart as a business owner, okay? How should my heart be? How should my posture be? This should be the flag of navigation. This should be the flag of GPS. Actually, it says it's like a stream of water directed by the Lord, and he'll guide it where he will. So my navigation, my GPS would be set, would be guided by God, would be trusted by God if I posture my heart properly. The heart of a king. Oh man, right here, this hit me. So if I posture my heart like King Solomon, it's like in the hand of the Lord in the stream. This word stream really caught my attention, because this whole time, as somebody who's been in the Navy navigating oceans, just sitting alongside the captain and seeing this endless just routes of water, I felt like stream was a different body of water. Totally different body of water. You see, I'm from Peoria, Illinois, originally born and raised. And in Peoria, we have a river. We actually call it the River City. And in a river, if you go down a river, it has an end, a destination, a purpose at the end of that and where it connects. The stream always has a flow as well. And so these things started really speaking to me, really like enlightening me to understand the difference between an ocean and a stream. And what I recognized is, in the ocean where I was feeling lost, if I can position my heart in front of God, it's like being in a stream, where in the stream, you know the destination. You know the end is in God's hand. You just have to follow the flow and trust. This was a release of stress and worry for me now that I was able to understand my perspective shift of not trying to conquer this ocean of endless, I don't know where I'm totally headed, to understanding my purpose is in the hands of God. It's in the hands like a stream, and He will guide you there to release trying to have this ambition to chase something at the end, like these successful entrepreneurs place, to become a $10 million 8-figure revenue company. You need to do this, check. To grow your company and scale and franchise, you need to do this, check. And not that these things are wrong and a great input, and there's timing to have these different things being taught to you, but to get lost in the heart of chasing an ambition, chasing something that's endless, to climb for what's the whole purpose of climbing this mountain or getting to the end of this ocean. And so in business, positioning my heart to trust God, to trust the builder of all things through the process. When I'm on a stream, imagine you're in a boat and you're on the boat and you're going through the stream. You do have to focus on the risks that you see just in front of you. There's enough worries in today alone to worry about till tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to we don't know what's going to happen to tomorrow. So the focus of today is what positioning the heart on the boat does. You see what's just in front of you, just like the captain. Yes, there's navigation tools happening and things like that. My position as a steward of the communication of the ship was to listen to the captain, not worry about where we're navigating to, and to effectively communicate what's being communicated to me, because if I didn't, we won't even get to the destination that's in front of us, let alone getting to the end. So trusting that the navigation, the GPS is set, everything's in place. Our goal is to navigate what's within our realm and trust alone the rest of the process, knowing that at the end that the destination's already determined and we can relieve that worry or rest. So in summary, my encouragement to you is to have a perspective shift. If you feel like there's an ambition as a business owner or leader to grow and do these things, God placed those in you, but don't get lost in chasing it for the sake of those things and those things alone. You see, Solomon didn't chase wealth. He chased understanding. He chased wisdom. And in this, I grabbed wisdom, I believe, or understanding that our position, and my encouragement for you is to position your heart to trust God in the end destination. The purpose is to be in the boat. The purpose is to be in the stream. The purpose is to be in His hand. He will guide you through the stream, left and right, and you're going to hit bumps. You're going to hit rocks, all intentional, to grow, to understand, to steward through the process. And while you're on the boat, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the moments of the process, up and down. When there's downs and there's valleys, those are the times that we typically get really close to God, begging and crying and praying. And there's success where we can celebrate with Him. But enjoy the journey. Look around. Look at the breeze. Enjoy the fruit. As long as you're on the stream, the flow, you're moving forward in God's purpose and plan. Sometimes we don't always have to see it or spell it out. It's more of a faith thing and trust. And when we have that trust and faith, believing that the destination is already determined, you can flow into more fruit because you'll continue on that stream versus trying to backpedal and go against the stream. You guys know what I mean, or feeling even lost in this ocean. So whatever season you're in, whether it's growth, transition, just be encouraged to reposition your heart. You don't need to have all the answer. Just trust that God has got you and going to guide you through this.